Hello, Dave here. Another video for you about, and this one is about the Spark. I have done some more Spark flying recently, and so I have another video for you. And this time, something very different. For the first time, I encountered a flyaway, a genuine Spark flyaway. It took off all by itself, and I was not in control of it, and I was very much afraid that it might have, I was flying over water at the time. So I was very much afraid that I would have lost it, but I didn't, thank goodness. So I'm back here with my Spark. It's still here. I haven't lost it. I haven't lost the Spark. Let's see if this will focus on it. This is this new camera has dual pixel autofocus, so it should be hopefully focusing on that all right. And then when I take it away, it should refocus on me. Yes, I think it's working. Anyway, that's the Spark. That's the new camera. I might as well mention the new camera. Here's the box it came in. It's the EOS M50 from Canon. There have been a ton of unboxings on YouTube already about this camera, so I'm not going to bore you guys with another unboxing or technical review. But anyway, let's get on to this video, and it's about the Spark. So last week, fairly nice weather, so we went to the nearby reservoir, and I was sort of curious about a quarry. Yes, a quarry. Right near the reservoir, there's quite an interesting looking quarry. I've only seen it from a distance, but it had a very dramatic cliff, very steep, and quite interesting, I thought, to fly the Spark over. But it's private property, and there are fences all around it, so I didn't think I could get anywhere near it, but I knew the reservoir was right near it, and that's a public area where a lot of people go there for fishing and boating. So I went to the reservoir. Linda and myself went to the reservoir with the Spark, and the first time we went, we found a place by a Beaver Lodge, actually. We've been there before. It's kind of one of our favorite places at the reservoir, this Beaver Lodge. We've gone there by kayak in the past, but this time we walked over there, and it seemed to be a good place to fly the Spark because it was kind of wide open there. Most of the reservoir, there's a lot of trees, a lot of high cover that would interfere with Spark flying. But right by the reservoir, right by the Beaver Lodge, it's kind of a little bay area there, it's a little clear there. So that's where I decided to take off and head in the direction of the Quarry. Yes, I took off from the Beaver Lodge, and we're going to see that right now. We are standing on the Beaver Dam right now, the Beaver Lodge.
There are two kayakers and lots of turtles.
Yeah, and we're going to go up. Let's look around at the turtles. There are turtles over there. There's turtles over there. So that's the quarry. I was able to, we went back a second time and got a little closer. We were able to get over the fence. So some of that footage you just saw, some of the footage you just saw was taken from much closer to the quarry than that Beaver Lodge. But after that, there was another thing on the reservoir that I wanted to get, and that's this huge white rock. Yes, a huge white rock that in the past we've kayaked to it and went around. I thought it would be fun to fly the Spark over to the white rock. So from that Beaver Lodge area, we took off and headed for the white rock. Okay, here we are at the reservoir, the Ashland Reservoir. We're about to fly over to the rock, the white rock. They call it a white. What was it? White rock thing.
I think White Rock, but it's by the Boy Scout camp. Is that it?
Girl Scouts.
Girl Scout. One of them.
Okay. I found it very unsatisfactory flying over the rock, the white rock, looking down at it because it was the water below was so dark and the rock was so white. It was really a problem. It looked just pure white. It didn't look very good, attractive. So we decided to go back to the reservoir and get closer because the rock is actually fairly close to the land further on along the reservoir. So that's what we did. We hiked along the reservoir quite a distance until we get really as close as we could to the rock, and from there, I took off again. All right, we're going to start flying again. There's the white rock right over there. We're going to just fly over it.
There's a big black bird. We have to see what that bird is.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll fly away long before we get there.
So maybe that bird will start flying. Imagine it will. You can see what it is. What could it be? Is it an eagle or an owl?
That way.
Snake bird?
Flying just
Cormorant?
over it.
Do cormorants go on rocks? Maybe they do. He's looking at
Oh,
it. Oh, he's scared. Oh, it was a cormorant. He went under the water.
Now, after I flew right over the rock, I backed it up a little bit, and I was fooling around. I think, again, it was looking too bright. I was trying to turn down the exposure a little bit, and that's where I lost control of it. And it just flew away, as you'll see right now. Where am I? Where is it?
Over there.
I hit return to home, but what's going up? Okay.
All right, good.
But it's going to, I'm going to cancel that now. Okay. I've never had to do that before. I don't know what it did there. It just took off.
Wow.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
That was by itself? It did that?
Yeah, I didn't do anything. I didn't tell it to do that at all.
Weird. Okay, come home now.
This was the very first time I really totally lost control of the spark, and it had zoomed over the, at least it didn't go down into the water. It went towards the land, but it kind of went out of sight. And eventually it just stopped and hovered again. But so I hit the return to home function, and it started returning to home. And as soon as it did that, it went well up to the return to home elevation, and I was able to retain control of it and bring it in. Oh yeah, before I show you the rest of this, I wanted to mention, after I got home and looked at the flight records of the flight, and I wanted to find out what happened with that flyaway, there were a couple of error messages that came up, and I'm not quite sure exactly what they mean, but I will read them to you, and maybe someone out there knows what this means. Warning, in-flight working IMU encounters heading exception. Please switch to ATI mode if craft behave abnormally. And it certainly did behave abnormally. And then another warning message we got. Warning, compass error, exit P GPS mode. And the craft actually did switch to the ATI mode at that point. So, but I was able to get control of it. I guess, I'm not sure if, it must have gone back to GPS mode, I'm not sure. But anyway, it was all right. And I brought it in and back to where we were standing on the bank of the reservoir there, and brought it very close. And unfortunately, at that point, I got a little careless. And there was a branch right near where we were standing. Oh, damn it. I didn't know that tree was there.
Oh, you didn't?
I guess the branch was too thin to activate the obstacle avoidance feature, and I didn't see it for some reason, and I flew it right into it. But fortunately, the Spark is a pretty rugged little aircraft, and it went down onto the ground, and it's fairly soft ground there. There are a lot of leaves and everything. And as you can see, it still is in one piece. And I tested it out the next day and flew it a little bit. And I also, because of that message about the IMU, I recalibrated the IMU, and I recalibrated the compass, and I flew it around in my driveway. And everything seems to be fine. It seems to be working again. And I think that's just about all I have today for this video. I wanted to try out this new setup with 2 cameras and see how that works. And I want to do future videos about the camera, the EOS M50. I want to do some more videos about this camera. Let's see, test the autofocus. It should be focusing pretty well. And compare it to the G5X, because they're both good cameras. But I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison. Actually, physically, they look very much alike. They both have electronic viewfinder and a fully articulated screen. It's just that the Canon EOS M50 is slightly bigger than the G5X, slightly bigger. And it has more advanced features. But anyway, I'll get into that in detail probably in my next video. So that will conclude this video. Hope you found it somewhat interesting and enjoyable. And I'll be back again with something else very soon, I hope. So we'll see you then. Bye.